your Ed McMahon.
Okay, my Ed McMahon. Oh my goodness. Dax is here with me this morning. It is Friday, so it's time for Wow Friday. It's time for me to remind you about my t-shirts because I wear one on a Friday. And of course, this is Dax's day with me for the last time before I go on hiatus on Tuesday. So we're going to talk about some of the things that Dax wants to see happen with the show and, you know, have people more interactive or whatever. It's not so much for the interaction. I want us to kind of more be giving a lot of information and people being able to go back and find it after they miss the show and that kind of thing. So, you know, for me, it's not, you know, I want you to participate. Like, you know, we had a great guest last night on the program who talked about, and I hope men are getting this because you need to know that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to create the fantasy date that you think your girlfriend or your wife is thinking about, because he told us you can just have the picnic right there in your living room, but make sure you have all the trappings that goes with the picnic. Okay? So I'm going to bring Dax in as I say good morning to you and hope that you opened your boxes of blessings this morning. And when you open it, you actually were more comfortable in saying, I love me. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Now I see all kind of people talking about loving yourself online. I wonder if they're listening to my show and stealing. Hey Dax, how are you?
Hey Diana, hey, good morning to your viewers. It's such a pleasure to join you again on Wow Friday.
Yes, Wow Friday. This has been a massive news week. I mean, from Trayvon Martin to the Supreme Court, affirmative action, the Voters' Rights Act. I mean, oh my goodness, DOMA, which was struck down. All the gay people in America are happy, and the conservatives and the churchgoers, which what I call them, the churchgoers are hoppy mad. You know, so we're going to tackle them kind of one by one. But before we do that, I want to just look at Texas for a minute, because I'm not sure you know, but there's a senator, a Texas state senator. Her name is Wendy Davis, and she did a filibuster to stop the abortion bill in Texas that was going to require you can't have an abortion beyond 20 weeks, and if you're going to have an abortion, the place has to be like almost like a hospital for you to get it done, which is almost impossible for all the clinics. So she stood on that floor in the State House for 11 hours without eating, drinking, going to the bathroom. Well, they tried to fix her back brace and she got points taken off for that. But she managed, with the crowd in the room, who just chanted until midnight, and they stopped the bill from being signed. Okay? So what happens the next day? Governor Rick Perry, who was not very bright in the presidential election for all the stupid things he said, he just went and did something more stupid. He went and he was speaking in front of a lot of people, and what he did was he goes, well, you know, Senator Wendy, what did she do? And then he goes, oh, well, you see, we have to be sympathetic to her because her mother was a single parent and she was a teenage mother. And I'm going, is this the governor of a state as big as Texas trying to attack personally? And then he goes, oh, well, you see, and she managed to get a degree from Harvard and was allowed to become a state senator. I thought to myself, are these guys in high school or something? Or are they really serious politicians who are dealing with the issues of the people in their state? And then we have the governor of Virginia. He's having his own issues because he decided that he was gonna, as a matter of fact, I think the guy that they're helping is doing something to do with weight loss or something. I don't remember the name of the pill or the thing that they're doing, but that guy, he's taking all kinds of perks. He's driving the guy's Ferrari. His wife told the guy, well, you know, I think my husband would love the Rolex that you're wearing, so he bought him a Rolex. Then he took the wife on a shopping spree, and the next day, oops, they're in the mansion. I'm going, are these guys for real or are they not? What are your thoughts on these politicians? Don't they think that anybody's watching them or they're going to be found out?
But there's nothing new.
I know, but no. But
over and over again.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying this, Dax, is that Governor Perry is the same one running for president and, talking about all these things that he talked about, which most of them were stupid anyway, because he made lots of errors that he should not have made, and I can't imagine him even being the governor of Texas, anyway. But then, Virginia governor, he was so, Mr. Prim proper and perfect, and then you hear he's doing all these things in the back, and then you don't hear it in the news in the daytime, it kind of sneaks out in the night when nobody's watching. It was in the Washington Post, and I was cracking up. I'm going, aren't these guys thinking that people are going to catch them? Why do we think that things that we do in the dark is not going to come out in the light? Please, tell me.
Everybody thinks they're smart.
Oh, everybody thinks they're smarter than the next person.
Or that the public is dumb. Or that nobody is paying attention, that everybody is so, caught up with their own personal issues that nobody's going to notice all the crap that they try and pull off.
Yeah, and there's another leaker apart from, have you heard about Mr. Snowden who was trying to get, yes, well, his dad has come out this morning and said, oh, my son is not a traitor. Well, what are you expecting his dad to say anything else?
But he's not a traitor. How does the word traitor come across?
Well, I don't know. I just think what he did is cowardice, because I think if you're going to do something like that, you don't go to China. He went to Hong Kong. Yeah, he's saying Hong Kong is not China, but it is. Hong Kong is ruled by China, okay? So he needs to get his politics straight there. And then he leaks a little bit here. And for me, the leaking is not the big issue, because I knew that since 9/11, we're all being watched and we're all being tapped because of the Patriots Act. They got the authority to do so in the Patriots Act. That's why so many people were against it. Yes? So most of the things that he's saying, yeah, he talked about the fact that, they spied on China and they spied on Russia and all that kind of stuff, which I guess ticked off the people in China. So all the people in China are now supporting him. I personally think he's a coward, because if you're going to do something like that, you should do it here, stay here, and pay the consequences here. Not try to go around the world and drip something here and drip something over there, and I have lots more things in my bag that I can expose. And the next thing, I don't believe that when someone is employed by a company and you are signing confidential agreements, that you should then go and scandal the company because you didn't like something that they did. You as an entrepreneur, how do you feel about that?
So we're talking about the government as being the company. And
yes.
He signed agreements with the government.
Okay, well, the government is not the company. He was working with a contractor, because I don't know if a lot of people know, most of the things that the government does these days, because of the Republican wanting things privatized, they are subbed out. Okay? So he's working for a private contractor to do that. And there's also another private contractor who gives the clearance for you to get those jobs. Yeah? So it's not quote unquote the government, really.
So let me speak from my personal experience. So I'm a mortgage broker, and I'm doing loans, and I realize that there's a company. Their intention is to take people's houses by offering them, really complicated loans with the end goal for the company is to take people's house. When I started working with them, the product seemed very attractive.
Okay.
But now I'm realizing there is a wider, issue with what they're doing. The problem is if I go to the company and I gather that they're not interested in changing anything, and then I realize that there's a significant portion of people who are affected by the behavior of this company.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel there's at some point some level of responsibility for me to now say, well, hey, my conscience won't allow me to just quit and let them continue. That I need to bring it to light and share it. So I actually consider him not a coward. I really, consider him to have taken a stand. And I don't know how it will play out, but it's. I don't think it was an easy decision, and I certainly don't think it was a cowardly decision. But that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's your opinion, and that's fine. And so, do you think that people should? Because I don't think whatever information he put out, it's not helping Americans. More so, it would be hurting them because of the national security, quote unquote, problem. Okay? Because he's giving things to people, and the U.S. believes that he is threatening the national security of the nation. Yeah? And they're not sure, which I can't really understand, what else he has in his bag of tricks, because he was supposedly have stolen 3 computers from the NSA.
So sorry to interrupt you, but if his goal was to actually be a negative influence on the United States, he would do this very secretly. He would go to China and he would, or Russia or whichever country, and say, look, I would like to supply you with confidential information that will allow you to, attack America or take advantage of America's weaknesses. Instead, he brought to light America's own attack on its citizens by spying on them. And while we know it was going on, the extent at which it was going on is quite shocking for those who choose to get shocked.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Are you shocked?
No.
Oh, because I'm totally not shocked. What he said to me was like, okay, the Patriots Act. I mean, and I just brushed it off because, from the Patriots Act came in to play after 9/11, every time I got on my phone, I'd be going, okay, and if you guys are listening, there's nothing here. Move on to the next caller. I was literally doing that. When I talked to my mom and stuff like that, and we would have a big laugh about it because previously there was another scandal about the fact that these people were actually, when they're listening on the conversation to find terrorists, they were actually listening to people's intimate conversations, because people were having like sex talks and stuff. So that broke before, but then that kind of died down. This was not as big as this is, So anyway, well, I guess we agreed to disagree on that one. So here we go now. The U.S. has now, the U.S. Senate has now passed the immigration bill. Do you think that Congress, led by our favorite Speaker Boehner, okay, do you think they're going to pass it?
I read a book recently called Sabotage.
Ah!
It's written by a Jamaican.
Really?
Called President Obama. And how, we can't allow him to fail, and how the whole system is totally about just trying to shut him down. So to answer your question, if I'm thinking in a practical, intelligent, progressive way,
okay,
I would expect that anybody would see the benefits of it and move forward. But if the intention is simply to oppose everything at all costs, then I would be surprised if it was opposed, and it's just unfortunate. But what can we do? And I think we should realize that we do have something we can do. We can pay attention and hold these people accountable, because there must be some point at which we must remember these choices and how these choices have affected us, and let somebody pay for the prices that they chose to make these choices. Okay,
well, my thing, I'm a little wavering on Speaker Boehner because I think he has no control over his caucus. I think the negative part of his caucus, which is against Obama at all means necessary, are going to try to fight him. But I think the Republicans in the Senate who actually signed the bill, including McCain and my favorite Lindsey, who talks anything that comes to his brain, he just spits it out. I think those guys are going to pressure the Congress to do the right thing. Even Marco Rubio, I was shocked to hear him speak about why he was signing the bill, and he talked about his mother and his family and stuff like that. So, and he's a Tea Party candidate. So I'm assuming and hoping that Mr. Rubio, Marco Rubio of Florida, sometimes I forget he's from Florida, because I keep seeing him as this kind of blockade Tea Party guy. So I'm just going to watch and see what happens. I'm trying to get someone to come on and talk about who knows a little more detail than I do. He's been on the show a couple of times. Pastor Seaton from this organization called Cush. They have a seat at the table. So he's been on the show a couple of times. So I'm trying to get him for Monday to come in and really tell us what's going on behind the scenes. Because, these guys, I think they come out and they do their theatrics for us. But then behind the scenes, they're going, come on, guy, you got to do this.
and I think that's the part there. You just said it. That I believe that the disclosure and an openness is the truth, the thing to protect us. That we need, it's not okay for Speaker Boehner to say he can't control his people. He needs to say which of them are opposing it. So I don't think it's good enough for him to come out and say, well, it's not up to me. I think he needs to come out and say, this is my position, and these are the people who are opposing my position, and then we go from there. Now we can deal with those people, but with too much hiding, too much backbenching and secret meetings.
Exactly, because Speaker Boehner, every time they interview him, he goes, I don't know. And I'm going, Speaker Boehner, you're supposed to know. Because I'm always talking to my TV. Anyway, next story here. Are you aware of what's going on with the guy Hernandez? Aaron Hernandez in the NFL, who plays for the Patriots, the New England Patriots. He was arrested in handcuffs, taken from his house this week, only to also find out that he was also involved in some drive-by shooting murder before. Okay, so my question is, now because remember I told you before on this show, the reason I don't focus on these sports guys anymore is because I think a lot of them use their power as an athlete to do bad things and get away with it. 27 NFL players have been arrested since February of this year. Okay, so that's as big as it is. Now they did several things. Actually, he's not even getting bail. No, the judge says no bail. All right. So my question to you is, do you think that athletes get away with things that they should not get away with, and the NFL and the NBA and all the athletic organizations should really and truly do a more thorough vetting of the players that they pick?
You saw the movie The Blind Side?
Yes.
Okay. And I saw it recently. I actually saw it on a trip back from Iceland.
Oh, okay.
And what I found interesting was towards the end where the NCAA, the Athletic Commission,
right,
came in to check out how he was recruited and everything else. So I don't think it's the players that's the problem. I think it's the overall industry and the need to win at all costs gives these young men the belief that they're above the law, they're without reproach, and they can't help it. So I don't think that Mr. Hernandez himself is the power he has is as a result of those around him who are protecting him, as opposed to he himself being a powerful individual and using his particular influence. No, the other part I would say is that let us understand these are athletes who are very physical a lot of aggression and a lot of, not necessarily deep thinkers. These are people who are paid to be very, very physical, and to expect them to necessarily be upstanding role models is not so I'm saying to you, no, I'm not giving them a pass. I'm not saying it's okay they can behave that way because they're athletes. No. But I'm saying at the same time, I'm not surprised. They're not that every athlete is a barbarian, but it's just a guy. It's just a guy who is going outside of his normal place. That these are guys who getting so much money and so much influence so fast. It's not surprising that they become confused and overwhelmed and get into trouble.
All right, so the only athlete I really like is LeBron James. But anyway, and I think I liked him because of what happened to him when he decided to make a choice in his life. And there were so many haters. There were so many haters coming out after him. And that's when I really decide, okay, I'm going to start praying for this guy. I like this guy because he's doing what he needs to do for himself. So
you don't like Usain Bolt?
Hussein is okay, but I've heard some things that I'm not so impressed with either. Seriously, these athletes for me, they earn all this money, crazy money is what I call it. I don't see why they need to earn as much money as they do as opposed to what I do or what you do. That's just me. Yes, they have to train harder and all that kind of stuff, but I have to work hard too. Whatever job you're doing. Those people who are cleaning the toilets, they have to bust their butts to clean them toilets and being them janitors. Okay, so I never understood why these guys get all the money they get and the power they get and the passes they get for doing all the crap that they do when they're not on the field. And Usain Bolt has done some crap off the field from what I gather. Now, I like him as a runner, as an athlete, yes, and I think he's done great things for the sport, but that's about it. I don't really know him, so,
let's talk about the money thing.
Okay.
And the thing about the money is I am so in tune with this, in that the money is as a direct relationship to the other money, the real money.
Okay.
Don't begrudge them the couple of million.
Oh no, I don't. I just think it's
that is making billions.
Yes, I understand that.
The ability to pay them and attract them and manipulate them with money is purely as a small percentage of what is available for them to use, and get together. And so, the real problem is it's the value of these guys. How are these guys using whatever money they're getting to not only better themselves, but to protect themselves? And there's some history. So many of them are bankrupt at the end of their careers. So many of them are just not in a position health-wise to be able to take care of themselves. So that's a big issue as well for me.
Yeah, that is a big issue because a lot of them too, like Iverson the other day was kicked out of his house, and I thought, you didn't pay for your house, my brother, with all that money you made. That's just me. I was going, well, how do you get kicked out of your house? Because you didn't pay your bills. And it's not just him, And as you said, a lot of them end up not being very well either. So that's another story. But anyway, I still don't begrudge them their money, but I just don't think their job or a CEO job, those CEOs in America that are making all this money and the people in their companies that are doing the work are not making a fraction of what they make. I just think that's not the level playing field, but that's just me. Okay, the Supreme Court was very busy this week. They started off with affirmative action, and I simply wanted to point out about Clarence Thomas. Justice Clarence Thomas, the black man, who is the only black man on the Supreme Court. Yes? But he always seemed to say the craziest things that just pisses off a whole lot of black people. So he goes and he says, he compares affirmative action to slavery. And I thought, slavery? Affirmative action? Didn't he go through the system because of affirmative action? Why do we seem to forget where we come from when we get to a place where maybe we shouldn't even be there? You know?
I think a big part of it is perspective. That at a certain point, and I can say this, I will say this on your show right now.
Okay.
That I came to this country with little and nothing. And at a certain point in my life, I believed that everybody had the ability, and it was just based on their lack of initiative or unwillingness to put the work in to achieve wonderful success in America.
Right.
And I've come to realize that it's not so simple. It's not true. And that there are many people who work hard, who try their best, and just don't get the opportunities in order for them to get where they get to. So I think for Clarence Thomas, he has the ability to think that because he's done it, and he was able to do it, and he overcome the obstacles, that everybody can do the same. And he's not in touch with the reality. And I don't know if he's not even watching the news, because I think if he can really fathom how the president is being treated, he would realize the depth at which the racism and an attitude towards oppression still exists at a unfortunately high level in this country. Do I mean that 90% of America is racist? Absolutely not. But that 10% that exists are at it and
every day.
And we need to be very careful about giving them the option to make the choice, because they don't always make the right choice.
That's right. Okay, they also passed, did something with the Voters' Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, and people were so upset. I heard people talking about this is a dagger through the heart of Voting Rights Act. What the Supreme Court did, they just killed it, didn't die totally, and put it at the seat of Congress. I mean, people were that upset. I saw some people talking on TV, and I thought they were going to have a heart attack. Seriously, after they the voting.
Now I'm going to go in the completely opposite direction that I went a while ago with Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
I think that today, to say, well, there are people who don't have an ID and people who don't have things there, there's a certain basic responsibility that I believe as a citizen of this country you need to be able to go get an ID, go get a state ID. You turn 18, get a driver's license. You need to learn how to drive. There are certain basic things that I feel, no matter how poor you are, no matter how uneducated you are, you can't say you have a Nike ear and you're wearing sneakers and you wanna wear NFL gear and you wanna have a cell phone and all of these things, but you can't get an ID. I think that voting is a privilege and a right that you need to be responsible and take your thing. No, that is one thing. There are absolutely gerrymandering and voter fraud and all of these other things, but those are the law. What this bill was talking about is specifically protecting the ability for a certain class of voters that I feel we need to step past that and say, no man, we're all right, we got this, we can register, we can show up, we can be present and really represent ourselves, fill in the ballot and make a proper representation as an individual.
Okay, well, we agree there, because this week when the Voting Rights Act was kind of stabbed down, I simply went on and I said, okay, people, what are you going to do about this? What you're going to do, you have how many months before 2014? Most people don't vote in the midterm elections anyway. At least most black people don't. And I'm not just saying that. It's said by the surveys. So if you're thinking of voting in 2016, my God, you have a long time to get that ID. So don't allow them to stop you, which is exactly what I said, what you're saying. Because if you give them the reason, they will find a way. So your revenge is to go get that ID. And remember now, you don't have to get a driver's license to get an ID from the DMV. You can just get an ID, period. Okay? And that's a federal ID that you're getting. So get that ID and stick it to them when the time comes to vote, because that's your revenge. So I don't know how many people agree with us, but I think, yes, it hurts to see what happened and all of that. But I think all the people who are hurt and upset, we need to go to Alabama, Georgia, Texas, all those places that this thing is kind of, those are the people that were included in Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. We need to go there, pay attention, make sure everyone who wants to vote and can vote gets their ID. So,
at the start of the show, you said, what are the things we'd like to see happen and how we'd like to see the show develop? And I love me.
mm-hmm.
To me is the number one theme, and I am a huge fan and advocate for I love me.
Mm-hmm.
And number two is, I am responsible for me. It's okay, I love me, but somebody didn't give me this, or somebody didn't give me that, and I love me enough to step up and say, hold on, I need to take these things on for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be responsible for the way I think, the way I feel, and the way I act.
Amen.
And the way I represent myself on a day-to-day basis. So, that would be something that I would like our audience
mm-hmm.
to really share, encourage, and develop a more responsible approach to life, as opposed to feeling where are all the problems and who didn't do what
the blame game. I'm blaming my mother because my mother didn't hug me enough, and I'm blaming my dad because I didn't have a dad, and I'm blaming this person and that. Please stop the blame game and be responsible. And I do believe that if people are confident enough to love who they are, like them, because not just loving yourself, you need to like yourself also. Yeah, you love yourself. It gives you confidence. It gives you self-esteem for you to go out and take responsibility for your own lives. Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the government need to do this," and I have you gotten anything from the government? I really don't. I can't see what I get from the government. Seriously.
Tax bills.
Exactly. I give to the government. What are they doing for me personally? Right? Can you?
When a police officer stopped me, in my mind, I don't say this to him. I'm not going to, undermine him and argue with him, but he is protecting me. He's not oppressing me. And it's happened to me over and over, and knock on wood, because I am not suggesting
mm-hmm.
that everybody who get beaten up by the police deserves it in any way.
Right.
I'm saying that I think having the right attitude when dealing with the police
mm-hmm.
can change your experience drastically, because they stop you and they come right up to you and you say, "Good evening, officer, how can I help you?"
Mm-hmm.
And the whole attitude change. "Mr. Dunn, we were tracking you, you were speeding. Oh, I'm so sorry. I will take the ticket and pay the ticket, I'll deal with it." But I'm saying to you, there's one way to do it where you feel like somebody just disrespect you and don't have no regard for you, or you can do it and understand that that's okay. He's doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't stop me and everybody was speeding, we'd have 10 times more accidents. So
mm-hmm.
thank God, give thanks. Have a nice day.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that, because I can give you an example. I got stopped by a cop one day because I went to a restaurant my family and I, and we bought a gyro. And when I got home, I didn't do what I normally do. Normally, before I leave a restaurant, if I'm taking something out, I always check the thing. I didn't. Yeah, my fault. So when I got home and I opened up the sandwich, the thing was all burnt. So I decided to get in my car with that anger and drive down 441. And as I'm going down, I didn't think I was really going that fast because I'm not a fast driver. I was stopped by a cop. And I said, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? In a very soft tone. And he said, well, you are going a little fast. So I started to tell him my story about the burnt sandwich, okay? And he then said to me, oh, by the way, the name of it is not gyro, it's gyro. And yes, you go and get that bastard to give you a new sandwich. Okay, he said to me, I can't not give you a ticket because I stopped you. But what I can do is, just think. He wrote me a ticket and it was like, to say that I couldn't find my registration or something like that. And then the ticket he gave was like for $7. Do you know that cop did not turn in that ticket for months and months and months? I kept going to the DMV to try to pay the ticket, and there was no record of the ticket. Eventually, like 7 months later, he finally put it in. Yeah? Because I guess he figured he had to. But he felt my pain. He actually did. I could not believe he was going, okay, you just drive not too fast and go get him. So cops can be nice guys depending on just what you said, how you approach them.
Let's remember this.
Yeah.
Everybody was born, have a mother, everything. Even the most callous and cold person, the cold-hearted killers.
Yes.
Somebody, they were a child suckling and in somebody's arms, couldn't walk, and somebody cared for them and nurtured them. And unfortunately, many of them have been abused, abandoned, and neglected. And this is just their way of acting out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a few of them join the police force for the position of authority, but at the same time, they would not be able to progress, graduate, and become licensed if they were not able to recognize authority. And you as an individual have an authority. You have the ability to represent yourself and say, look, I understand you have every right to stop me, but I understand that you must treat me. I expect that you will treat me with dignity, respect my rights, and let us do what we need to do. And as I said, that is not in any way suggesting that when it don't go that way, that the person the unfortunate person who got hurt or was abused was responsible for it themselves. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we can do more as individuals to take responsibility.
And absolutely, there are bad cops, there are bad people everywhere. There are bad white people, bad black people, bad Chinese people, bad Indian people. People, whatever group there is, there's going to be a bad apple somewhere. Okay? So, you can't fix everything, but we need to stop blaming people for things. Especially, I truly hate to hear people blame their parents for stuff. Because after you become 21, 24, mom and dad is no more responsible. You need to take responsibility. That's just how I feel anyway. Okay, the next and last one from the Supreme Court, this was a really busy week, is DOMA. Now, you and I come from a society where they are extremely homophobic. I do know that. So I'd like to know, I truly would love to know how all the people from around the world are really reacting to this. I haven't seen anything much online. What I do see is what I thought would happen. The people who fought for DOMA to be killed, which it was killed by the Supreme Court, and that's the Defense of Marriage Act, for those who are wondering what DOMA means. That's what it means, okay? So, the people who fought for DOMA, those people have, I don't know what it is about people who are in that whole genre of fighting for stuff, they get things done. But the conservatives now that are very mad about the whole thing, and the people who are churchgoers, as I said, who call themselves Christians, because Christianity for me is a whole nother story, yeah? Because a lot of people to me just go to church because they have nothing else to do that day, if they're worshipers on a 7th day or they're worshipers on a Sunday, you know. So people just want to go to church. Some people go to church to show off their clothes. They go to network marketing. Some of them don't even go there to worship. They leave the church and you ask them, what did the preacher preach on today? Which chapter of the Bible did they cover? I don't know. Okay, so that whole Christianity thing for me is another story. But I simply wonder, how do you feel? Do you believe, like many, like even our president, Barack Obama, he believes that a marriage should be between a man and a woman, but the federal government should not have the power to prevent and block the benefits of those who are not, quote unquote, doing it the heterosexual way?
You know, I would have to say I agree with that. You know, for me personally, at about 14, 15, when I became aware of what homosexuality was, my simple thought was, why would anybody choose that unless something inside them determined that was the thing for them? So I have to respect that, the fact that why would somebody put, if it was just a simple matter of, man or woman, then the amount of struggle and strain and problems that you find just to make that choice, I don't think anybody would choose that.
Amen.
There must be some deeper drive that comes at birth or beyond our consciousness that drives somebody to make that choice. So I have to respect that, and I appreciate that. While I don't understand it,
yes,
if that's their commitment and that is what they're feeling, I have to respect it, and it represents itself as love, and in no way do I see it as a threat to my ability to be true to myself. So I don't have any problem with people doing what they need to do to be happy. And as I said, I don't see it hurting anybody else. So I'm happy for them.
Okay, all right. So I'm on the same train with you with that one, because they're not bothering me. So it's okay. I'm not gonna do what they do, but that's their thing.
Why shouldn't they get to suffer like we do?
Exactly, yeah, because this is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because this is the thing that I was thinking about. I am saying, okay, all those people are fighting to be married and get all the benefits. Are they thinking about the suffering too? Because, I was watching a program with a preacher, and I think the program is called 4 Weddings or something like that, and he was performing the wedding ceremony, and he says, well, there are 3 stages to get to this place. 1, you get engaged. Next, you get the engagement ring. Then you get the wedding ring. Then you get the suffering. So when I heard the Doma thing and I saw the joy and the happiness, and people were crying and hugging each other, people were proposing, I said, okay, wait for the suffering. You go see how wonderful this really is, So I'm surprised that you actually said the same thing I was thinking. Okay, have you heard the story about the $1.2 million that's missing from the $48 million on its way to New Jersey for the Federal Reserve? And somebody decided to help themselves to $1.2 million of it?
I'm sure this happens every 5 or 7 years. And this is just one or a few times that we actually hear about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I thought it was funny, because I thought to myself,
it's so easy for somebody to just drop it the window, slip it off in a cart,
and be gone. I just find that very, very.
For the giant.
I I find that to be very suspect, okay? Very, very suspect. Okay. I want to now go to, before I leave the politics, I want to go to Issa, Senator Issa, who was trying to pin the IRS scandal and everything else to President Obama and the White House. Now we find out that he was just lying about stuff. They weren't just catering or pinpointing people who are in the Tea Party. They were also dealing with the progressives and the liberals. Only to find that out. So, Mr. Issa has lost his credibility in my eyes. Of course, this is not the first time he's done something like this. But he was so obsessed with trying to get President Obama impeached that he decided to cover up some of the evidence. And Elijah Cummings just put it out there. So, I'm going, okay, you guys, you need to start doing the people's business and stop trying to kill Obama because you can't.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
And again, as much as I try not to put too much time and energy in focusing on it, the reality is there are people who are still making decisions purely on race.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2013, we have to be aware of that. Mm-hmm. We don't need to stay there. We need to be like the president, where we can move forward, go about our business, work around options when we have an opportunity, but just at the same time be aware. It's out there.
Amen. Amen to that. Okay. I'm now sure that you've heard about Paula Deen.
Yes.
Yes. Paula Deen.
Hold on. Let me take the lead on this one.
Okay, go ahead. She lost Target this morning. So that's one more.
Paula Deen, in her truest self, comes across as truly Southern in every ounce of her being. And everything that she's been accused of seems so natural and normal for somebody from that. And all it is that it's coming to light. That I don't believe that she's a evil, hatred, that she hates black people or anything. She just has a different perspective that is very unfortunate, limited, and I don't think she even realized what may seem like a joke. Black wait staff in their short pants and thing there may seem just what people did.
It's a norm.
It's a throwback to those good old days.
Yeah.
Good old boys.
And
I think it's unfortunate what she's going through. I have forgiven her. I'm willing to forgive her. Whatever price she needs to pay to the people who she wronged and the people bringing the lawsuits against her, I'm sure they'll get compensated. But I don't think she should be completely, removed from the air and have no ability to redeem herself. And she will. I mean, look at Martha Stewart. She came right back and everything is there. And even Martha Stewart, I felt it wasn't fair. I don't think Martha should have gone to jail in the first place. And I'm not fans of these people at the You can see the humanity in them. They're humans.
Okay, they're humans, and it's human to err. But I do believe that Paula Deen, as I said earlier this week, I used to watch Paula Deen a lot, and then all of a sudden one day I just got up and I said, no, there's something about her that I'm not going to watch anymore. I didn't know why, couldn't explain it, nothing. My spirit just said, cut it off, that's it. So I went to, last Christmas, I went to the store in Atlanta and I was buying a ham. So, she had an endorsement with Smithfield Ham. And I called the young lady, an African-American young woman, and I said to her, what's the difference between this ham with Paula Deen and the ham that is a supermarket brand? And she goes, in a very upset, pissed off voice, Paula Deen. So I went home and I told my mom, and my mom is cracking up, because, I'm giving her the accent and everything, and she's just dying because she thinks that something is wrong. That girl just hates Paula Deen. So now we're thinking, did she have some inside information about how Paula Deen treats her staff or what? I don't know. Or did she just not like Paula Deen because Paula Deen is a white Southern woman? Okay. So anyway, what really got me with this whole Paula Deen thing? Paula Deen thought, when she was asked about, did you think that saying the nigger word, I'm saying nigger because why are you afraid to say the word nigger? And it really doesn't mean black. It means a worthless person. Please check your dictionaries. Thank you. So, and her response was, well, I'm not that person, so I don't know if they were offended. And I'm like, lady, please stop it. No. How could you not, as old as she is, know that the N-word, as she puts it, is not offensive to black people or to people in general? Because there are white people who are offended when they hear people use the N-word. It's not just black people. Then she spoke about the young men and women who are singing these songs and talking about nigger. Yeah? She referenced that. And then she was asked about a party that she wanted to have. She wanted to have a plantation party and to be served by slaves. And in the deposition she was asked, you wanted to be served by slaves? She said yes. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give her credit for that because she was being honest. A lot of people are not able to be honest. So I'll give her that. And then we find out that she has also stated in a silent part of her employment for all her companies, her restaurants and stuff, black people can only be janitors and in the kitchen. Now that part just ticked me totally off because I thought to myself, and they also accuse her brother because, it's her brother Bubble and her that are, in the lawsuit. So I thought to myself, okay, Paula, you have all this money now. Do you think it's only white people that are watching you and only white people that are buying your products? I don't think so. So don't you think you should take some time to be careful about what you say and what you don't say to offend people? That's where I am going with her.
Yeah, so I agree with everything you're saying. But I'm saying at the end of the day, we have a choice. So no. If I was target and I feel that her choosing her to represent my product has a negative effect and I will lose business, I'm going to cut her. Okay. I'm going to get rid of her. But I'm saying we can tolerate Rush Limbaugh and hundreds of other very anti-diversity people. And so I think Abercrombie & Fitch or one of these companies.
Abercrombie and Fitch did the same thing. They had that same thing where minorities can never be managers and they don't like to hire black people. Hence, for me, I don't go in their store. I really don't. I'm sorry. They're just little things that I do that I think is good for me to do personally. I'm not saying for you not to go to Abercrombie and Fitch, but I don't go.
And I think that what I think is the most important thing is that now we know. So I don't need to persecute Paula Deen. I don't need to run her down. I don't need to see her destroyed. I just need to know, okay, so you stay over there. So I was a fan in the first place,
right?
But it wasn't surprising to me. It wasn't, a complete, oh my, it wasn't unbelievable. And more importantly, I don't think that she need any more attention. It's over, it's done with, let's move on.
Okay.
And, let her pick up the pieces. She'll still open her store, and there are people who still go to her store, but you and I know that it's not false.
And I tell you, how I discovered Paula Deen is that I went to Savannah, Georgia, which is beautiful, nice place to just go and relax. As you drive into Savannah, you actually feel like you're in the Caribbean somewhere, and all the world's troubles just kind of come off your shoulders. and she has a restaurant called Mother and Son. And when we went there, we went to the restaurant, and the line was around the corner, even in the rain. Okay, so you go in, and it's a tiny place, and that's how she really started, apart from the fact that she talked about her making sandwiches and selling them in brown bags and all that kind of stuff. At her restaurant, the food was very good, I must say. Give her that. And then Elliot, who's a producer, he discovered her, and boom, she got on Food Network, and hey, she, now her kids are on Food Network and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not willing to give Paula a pass. Why? Because I think that Paula should take personal responsibility for offending other people. And if she's telling me at her age that she didn't know that she would offend a black person by making them think that they cannot be a manager in her establishment because they only belong in the kitchen and being the janitor cleaning the toilet, something is wrong with that. So I'm not willing to give her a pass. Unlike Dax, I will forgive her because yes, we're supposed to forgive, but I don't think she deserves a pass. I think she needs to go and think about what she did before she comes out and try to give another apology. No more apologies, please. Because you have not said to me, I'm apologizing because. She hasn't said that. And to me, when you give apologies, whether it's your children, you apologizing to your wife, your husband, whomever, you must tell me why you are apologizing. Don't just say, I'm sorry. It means nothing to me. So, I'm with Target. I'm with Walmart. I'm with Home Depot. I'm with Caesar's Palace. I'm with the people who gave her the Smithfield endorsement. I'm with, not so much with Kmart and Sears who are thinking about it. What's there to think about? And QVC thinking about it. There's nothing to think about right now. You need to take away the endorsements and let her see what she's done and how she's hurt people. Because racism in this country is as rampant as it ever was in the 60s. And it's even worse because a black man is in the White House. That's just my beef. Okay. So, moving right along. By the way, did you know that the Eiffel Tower was closed down because people were on strike, and they're open today again? They were on strike for more salary.
That's it. We have power. We as the people have the power, and we must exercise our power by working together and working towards our common good. You and I have power. We have a mandate. We're doing this program because we want to engage people in loving themselves, in taking responsibilities for their life, and in finding ways to be a better human being and make a contribution to society. Okay,
all right, now we're going to get to the big one. The big one for the week that started on Monday is the trial between, was it Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Now, Trayvon is dead, so he can't speak for himself. My personal opinion is that I think the defense has to put Zimmerman on the stand, because if you're saying self-defense and all these other people are saying they saw you on top of the guy and the young woman who they totally grilled, and I think that defense attorney is going to regret the 5 hours or 6 hours that he spent with that young woman, because I just think it was excessive. He asked the same questions 10 times, 100 times, and he kept getting the same answers. Yes, she told a little lie because she said she was in the hospital when she wasn't, because that's the reason she didn't go to the funeral. Just imagine yourself, Dax, talking to someone on the phone, and the last words that's what she said, she heard, get off. Get off. And before the get off, he said, why are you following me? Now, the defense attorney wanted to know, oh, did he say it in a voice of being mad? Or how the hell do I know that on the phone? Yeah? I'm talking to my friend. If my friend is even slightly upset, I'm really not going to know how upset he is on the phone. Will I? Or could I know? Okay. And then they're showing the photos of Zimmerman's head, but then if you go back to the original day that this happened, we saw no bumps and bruises on Zimmerman. But what I like about the trial when it opened on Monday, because it actually got me to park my car in the parking lot and listen. And he did such a magnificent job of taking the jurors and each and every one of us right to the scene of the crime with all the expletives that Zimmerman said about the fact that these effers always get away and these SOBs and all that. I didn't know he even said that. Okay? So I was really brought into the whole emotional, because I when this whole thing started, I decided not to get emotionally involved until I kind of knew what was going on. Until Monday, when I heard all the things that Zimmerman had said at the scene when he was pursuing Trayvon Martin and what he said to the 911 operator. So just let me know. I don't know if you saw that, because it was riveting. It really was. And then there was the defense, who was, to me, knock, who's there. That was just stupid. Okay? That was his response to his opening statement.
For me, I actually have a hard time watching the case. I for some reason, identify very much with the dad. And
yes.
I get very angry. I get very emotional. And, I'm unable to see the technicalities of it. I see, and I don't think that George Zimmerman is a evil, he's just somebody who is very unfortunate in his position of, I am a vigilante and I'm going to protect, and that, I believe that he believes he was doing a good thing and that he was within his rights to think there, but in the end, he was wrong. There is no question about it. He was wrong. He was wrong to pursue him. He was wrong to accost him. He was wrong to shoot him. And, I hope that justice prevails and that he at least do some time. I don't know if he should get the death penalty or go, but at least manslaughter and wrongful death, because I certainly don't see this kid in nothing that I understand about it. He ran away from the guy. He avoided the issue. He was where him living was staying with his father, and that I don't think that people should have. If you were breaking into the house and you got shot, it would be sad. But you're just walking along, and just because you're black, somebody feel they have the right to challenge you and accost you, and no, I don't agree with it. So, as I said, I'm not in it minute by minute. I am hoping it all works out quickly, but I can feel for the dad. I really just empathize with him. Every time I see him on camera, I feel like I know exactly what I'm going through,
Yeah, because I kind of feel too that the dad, just like Rach, the young lady that testified yesterday, they feel a sense of guilt because they figure they could have done something. And I really don't think they could have done anything. They couldn't. There's nothing she could do. She was at another location on the phone. And I think the fact that the defense attorney pursued, because that's what people are saying online too. I was surprised. Somebody said it on CNN this morning that people online are mad with the defense attorney because they're like, why do you need to talk to this young girl for 5-6 hours and trying to get her, twist her up, tie her up? I mean, he did everything and she just kept to her story. He said, get off. So, but one of my predictions, and I hope this does not come true, is that if Zimmerman gets off, we're going to see a repeat of what happened in Los Angeles with Rodney King, and I do not want to see that again. So I truly hope that justice is done.
I don't think so. I think Stanford is a very different community, and I don't think there's any ignition point. Los Angeles had the community, had the people, had the the energy there, but I don't think there's any place, not in Miami. I don't think Miami is in touch with it. And this is just, as I said, from a more technical point of view. I feel emotionally we're all going to be caught up in it, but I think at this point it's you know, I don't know. But I agree with you. I hope it don't go down that way.
Yeah, but do you remember the demonstration they had in Sanford when this just happened in order to get it for him to even be arrested? I was actually shocked because I was going, where is Sanford, please? And then I see all these mountains of people demonstrating, black and white too. It wasn't just black people, with, of course, led by our favorite guy. Okay, all right. I'm gonna kind of go to this as our last story, but oh no, I can't do that. Before I get to that one, I have to remind you about something. Remember, you and I spoke about former Congressman Mr. Weiner from New York? Yes, and we both agree that he should not have resigned and all that good stuff. Well, guess who is in the lead for the mayor's race in New York? And there you go, Mr. Weiner. So even though he knew that
behave yourself no more pictures, just behave yourself and go do your job.
Exactly, no more pictures and no more adulation from beautiful young girls to boost your ego, okay? Alright, so I just wanted to do that one before I get to this one, which I know you're going to love this one. Things we eat in the United States that are banned elsewhere in the world. Farm-raised salmon fed with something called canthaxanthin, a chemical to make it that pinkish orange color that we love so much. And then there is Hawaiian papaya, genetically modified to prevent ring spot, part of the quote-unquote smart crop that can withstand diseases, droughts, and floods. And then there is doped meat. Contains ractopamine, a muscle enhancer that is banned in several countries. Hence, Russia banned U.S. beef and pork from coming into Russia February 2013. Okay, this one is called brominated vegetable oil, otherwise known as BVO. It is in Mountain Dew, Fresca, but PepsiCo decided to take it out of Gatorade. We don't know why they took it out of Gatorade and not Mountain Dew. Colors and dyes, which I'm sure you know that there's a group of mothers right now fighting all the dye companies to take dyes out of kids' cereals. So it's banned, and in things like mac and cheese that has, in the box that has that bright orange color, that's a dye. So they're saying that, and Jell-O too. I was shocked to see that. Jell-O. And there's some things called red dye 40, yellow dye 5 and 6, and blue dye number 2. And then, here's the big thing. Arsenic, which is fed to chickens to increase their weight while requiring less feed. Gives chicken a healthy glow and treat the parasites that they might have. And the last one is potassium bromate, or bromate with a B. Added to bread to make the dough hold together and rise higher. Can cause kidney damage, tumors, cancer, and damage to the nervous system. Thyroid tumors. It is also classified by the Cancer Research Agency as carcinogenic. And then there are 2 other things they want us to look out for in our food. Something called olestrazoline, which is a fat substitute found in fat-free chips. And they did an experiment on rats, and the rats who ate anything with olein gained lots of weight. There's also something called BHA, butylated hydroxynitrosol, and another one called BHT, which is a butylated hydroxytoluene. Okay, I know that was a lot to take in, but from the prospect of you being in the business of detoxing, how should we read this, please? Because you know a lot of people love chicken now.
Well, one of the things that we do is we feel the whole world is a buffet, and we need to have everything, and what we need to do is figure out what we need to avoid. And I would say, come to it from a different perspective. Look at it and say, you don't need anything except the few things that you do need. You know, and it's the water, the natural foods, the fruits in season, and if you go from there and go out, then you can be like me. In that what I'm able to do is I don't have to say there's anything I can't eat. I don't have to say I'm a vegetarian or I have to lock myself into any single point of view. What I say is I must bring fresh air into my body on a daily basis. I must drink enough clear, clean water to help my body to detox its lymphatic system. I must have regular bowel movements to empty my colon and cleanse my intestines. And I must eat fresh, green, leafy vegetables, fruits in season, nuts, legumes, and from there now I have the what's left. Then even a pack of chips I don't believe will kill me.
Okay.
If I have a pack of the most, the worst offenders of these modified foods, only at one body can handle it. But if I'm looking at eating the chicken and eating all of the processed foods and all of those things as my foundation as far as my food intake, then I'm going to be in trouble. And no matter how much Diet Coke I leave out, or chips I leave out, or specific type of foods, I'm already toxic. And all the avoiding, all the organics that I add after I've laid a foundation of toxic foods can't help me. We need to start with a clean, healthy inside and maintain it.
Right.
And then when the wrong things come in, it will allow us to naturally detox it and maintain our health and wellness.
Absolutely. Two little stories before you go. Okay, let's see who is this person. Okay, let's see. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Diana.
How are you?
I am doing fine.
Okay, what's your comment for the show this morning?
I have a question for Doc.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Doc.
Hi.
Good. I ate beef 2 days in a row. I ate snapper fish 2 days in a row. I ate salmon 3 days in a row. And then I had some plain vegetables with no meat kind in it. Now what do I do to eliminate the beef from my system?
Okay.
What's wrong in you is eating beef 2 days in a row and the fish? Help me out.
She wants to know, you're asking if there's any harm in...
Are you eating
the 2 days in a row, and how can I get it from my system?
Okay, can you hear him when he's answering you? Go ahead, Dax.
No, not really. Let him try, let me see if I can hear.
Go ahead, Dax, let me see if she can hear you.
Are you on the program now?
Yeah, what's the question?
He's asking if you're on his detox program.
Right.
No.
No, she's not.
Okay. So my advice to you is, number one, meat, beef, chicken, even fish, I would limit it to once or twice a week. I would go with cabbage especially for cleansing the meat out of the colon. Cabbage, kale, spinach, even broccoli is something to have. I would eat light. I would drink a lot of water, and it will pass. It's a process. But more importantly, on a daily basis, I would bring much more green leafy vegetables into my daily diet, and really try and leave the meat to once or twice, if that much.
Right.
And as you go along, if you really are a meat eater and you like it and think, you may find that fish you could do it 2 or 3 times a week. But ideally for you, as you describe your position right now, my recommendation would be to, for only once a week for the next week or 2, and then start introducing it back slowly. But try and eliminate so much meat in the diet. Fish as well included.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that. Thank you.
Oh, very good.
But I'm not a meat eater, really. It's just that I felt a little guilty for eating. I just want it. I just got the crave. I grew up eating meat, right?
Okay.
And I have eliminated meat, pork, lamb, beef, meat.
Right.
I chicken. I like steamed cabbage a lot.
Okay.
But when I steam it, I put saltfish in there. I don't care what you say. I have to put saltfish in there.
Saltfish is fine. Saltfish is fine. No problem with that.
I hate my cabbage. I like steamed cabbage.
Okay, so let me ask you something though. Do you think you could go without meat or fish for a week or 2? Do you think you could do that and just?
No. I've done it several times.
Oh, okay.
But there are times when my body just says,
crave.
I need this. I need it. Like for example, I just needed to have the other day. I just needed to have some beef. And
Okay.
I stopped at the store and I got a pack of beef and I cooked it, and since it's just me, it served me twice.
Okay.
So I ate 2 days in a row, and that's the reason I had 2 days in a row.
Right. Okay.
But I would eat the fish, and I like to eat the fish. I like snapper, and I like salmon, especially salmon. Oh, I die for salmon every day.
Are you eating the farm raised salmon, or are you eating the wild salmon? Which salmon are you eating?
It doesn't matter which one I get is salmon. I just eat them. Even though I know that, one is better than the other.
Oh, okay.
I would buy it and I would eat it.
Okay.
Because I like it. I really like salmon. But it's not something I eat every day. Because there are times when I would curry potato. I like curry potato, so I put all my seasoning in it and I just curry. And I don't serve it with rice or anything. I just curry it and eat the potato.
Okay, well, let me ask you something now.
I like curry.
Okay, let me ask you something. Would you want to do a detox like the 21-day detox that Rad Wellness offers to cleanse your lymphatic system and start from scratch again?
No, it works against my body. Because I have attempted it twice, not his. I have attempted it twice, and I got really sick. I can't explain the situation, but it didn't work for me.
Okay, you tried this particular program twice?
Say it again?
You tried the Rad Wellness program twice?
Not Rod.
Oh, okay.
I've tried other programs before Rod time.
Okay, well, I might want to say to you that I've tried other things too, and this one worked for me, so it might be something for you to consider.
I have considered it too, and I've spoken to my doctor about it, and he kind of talked me against it, so I'm doing
okay.
stuff. I drink a lot of water, of course, and even when I eat, I drink hot water. Instead of drinking a glass of cold drink, I drink a cup of hot water, plain water.
Oh, okay.
When I have hot beverage for breakfast, I drink plain hot water. So it's not like I have tea or coffee or anything, or hot chocolate. I drink plain hot water, no sugar, no honey, no nothing.
All right, well, my recommendation would be to give the program a try. I don't care what your doctor says. That's just me. But I think you should go with your gut on that one, because as I shared on this show, since I had my daughter 19 years ago, I had so much problems trying to lose that last 10 pounds. And the first time, and I've tried all the detoxes that are out there, because I'm just one of those people, and nothing worked for me, and this worked for me. And the thing I like with the Rad Wellness 21-day program, detox program, is that they work with you individually every day to make sure you're well. If you're not doing well with something, Dax is there or Vanya is there to give you the proper thing that you need. You see what I'm saying? So you're getting a support system as opposed to just going on a detox, which I've done several times, and after 3 days I'm like, oh, forget this thing. I can't be bothered with this crap. I'm hungry.
I've had coach in the first one I did.
Oh, okay.
I had a coach.
Okay.
A dietitian and all of that.
So okay. Well,
my body is different. Every medical practitioner and everybody just like something because my body's not used to foreign stuff. When I say foreign, I mean different.
Well, food is foreign. Okay, hello, my lovely viewer. Food is foreign. Okay, so
the other foreign stuff that I take in my body, I'm like used to something, and it stays with me.
Okay.
And once I go out of that, for example, I was never taking medication, and I started taking a certain medication, and let me tell you, my body went AWOL, and the doctor, every doctor did their own trial, lower the dose, higher the dose, changing the name, and my body was just going crazy.
Okay.
So,
well,
I just have to not do certain things and do certain things.
All right. Well,
my body speaks to me. If I want to drink orange juice, my body has to tell me that it needs the orange juice for me to drink it, and it doesn't bother me.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck on trying to get rid of that beef and all that chicken and all that fish out of your system.
I'm going to be trying to do that, and then I eat a lot of green leafy vegetables.
Okay.
But just listening to Rod sometimes make me want to try, and my body is telling me, don't do it because you're going to go crazy.
Okay.
But anyway, I want to get rid of the beef. I'm guilty. I'm feeling guilty right now.
Okay, all right. Well, eat some spinach. That will definitely clean out the beef, for sure.
Okay, both of you have a good day.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, all right. Okay, Dax. Well, hey, everybody's body is different, yes, and we all react differently.
We strongly encourage that. That you must know your body.
Right.
Unfortunately, this program is not like any medical program or any other program out there, so it's different. But it doesn't work if you're not willing to
yeah, you have to mentally know that you're ready to
respect her chicken into it and talking to her doctor.
Yeah.
And if and when the time is right, we'll be here. But I definitely,
well, at least she's thinking about it. She's thinking about it, so that's a good thing. Okay. Final 2 things before you go. Have you heard of the guy who got kidnapped by his workers in China?
I did, and I was wondering what does the Chinese government do? Because I think kidnapping is kidnapping, even if the reasons are quite valid. But
and he's actually from Florida. He's from Coral Springs. Yes.
I think him just want to stay on him wife and kids want to come up with a story. So it's about him don't believe.
Anyway, final story. Did you know that the survey says that 70% of us are unhappy with our jobs, even if they have perks like Google? Yeah.
Well, and I think that today we have so much choices, and it's the grass. The grass is always green on the other side, and sometimes we only had one neighbor beside us, one neighbor on the other side, one behind us, and one in front.
Yeah.
Now we have millions of grasses around us. When you go on the internet and you look on Facebook and you look on so many different channels and different people's lifestyles. You can, if you don't know yourself, if you're really not secure in loving yourself, in taking responsibility for your life, you can always be swayed to believe that something else is going to make you happy. So it's not that they're unhappy with their job, it's that they're unhappy with themselves. The job becomes the place to blame. The job becomes the thing they have least control over, so they manifest it there. You know, it's just like the child who says, or the adult who says, I am the way I am because when I was a child. You know, and what he's really saying is that when I didn't have the power, the things that should have happened to me didn't happen to me, and now I have the power, I still don't want to take responsibility. And I'm saying we need to take responsibility. If your position is you need the job, do the job and enjoy it. If you don't want a job, go find something else to do with your time and energy and be productive and be happy.
Be happy. Okay, that's a good way to end the program. Giving Dax now final thoughts, because this is our last time together until August when I come back. And, you know, I hope when we come back you have some new products and some new things for us to talk about and all that kind of stuff. And Rad Wellness grows and grows. So
you know what? The timing of the break is very timely, because we have been. I'm actually going to Cayman on the 4th of July.
Wow!
To Idaho on the 11th. I have some stuff we're doing in Canada.
Fabulous! So you'll have a lot of things to tell me when I come back.
The products. So we're going to be quite busy, and one of the major things that we want to do is actually bring on some more team members and wellness advocates, as well as a few more products that we've been testing. We want to get them in the lineup.
Great.
And most importantly, I would love to see the promotion of the book, you know, and the program and the whole wellness community around people loving themselves, taking responsibility for their daily choices and their actions, and seeing how we can build a community, not just on this show, but each person who is watching this show take the time to build their own private community of people who take care of themselves, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, as well as, you know, socially, and just find the things to bring peace and love into our lives. So,
amen. And when you go to Cayman, you know, I actually did my show from Cayman. I was interviewed by someone from the television station there in Cayman, and there is a place in Cayman, I think it's on like the main drag. That guy makes the best carrot juice on the planet. So you find it when you go there. Yeah, the Diana Wright Show was on in Cayman, and I went there, visited, and got interviewed and all that kind of stuff. I think I have the tape somewhere hidden in my house here. So you will enjoy it. It's too small for me though. It's so small. You could actually drive out the whole place in a day, you know. So, but very nice. People are wonderful, warm, and very expensive, and you feel like you're still in Miami. Because everything is there. Everything is available. You feel like you're in Florida when you're in Cayman. Yeah. So have a great trip. And see, we took the break at the right time. And when we come back, we will come back with a bang and see what else we have to offer people. That's
excellent. Well, you enjoy your trip, your vacation.
Yes.
Spend time with the family and do some relaxation and get some.
Oh, I certainly will, because I need to sleep. And stop working my brain so much.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, Dax, you take care and have a great summer. And of course, we are going on hiatus on Tuesday. Tuesday morning is the final show before we go on hiatus. And I invite folks to go online to my website, look at the shows that you haven't seen, just like how you watch the reruns on TV. It's the same thing, all right?
All right. So be well, live well, and stay well.
All right. Thank you so much, Dax. Have a great day.
Take care.
And be blessed. Alrighty, that was Dax Dunn, of course, joining us right here on the Diana Wright Show, as we certainly appreciate him and his company. Well, you know, I talk about the detoxing program all the time because it works for me, and I like to share to you, what works for me and people that I know. Works wonders. So if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. And if you don't want to try it, that's okay too. But be well and try to get your system to the place that you want it to be, and then you add whatever else you need to add to it. Anyway, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. As I say, adios, ciao, and au revoir. I'm trying to get someone to be on Monday to talk about immigration before I get out of here, because it's big news. And I thank you so much for joining me today from around the world and in the United States. Don't forget that April 30th is International I Love Me Day. And I want you to be blessed wherever you go for worship this weekend. I want you to go for the right reason, to praise God and worship. Be thankful and be blessed and stay prayed up. And don't forget 3 little words, everything you do. I love me. Thank you. Ciao. Do-we-do-we-do.